this video we are going to create this amazing CSS3 page. You can see this is responsive as well. I have added trailer to it. You can see when the page loads, the trailer is getting automatically played. Fine. You can see. Let me create it from scratch. You'll get the source code in the description. Follow with me along. First, create a folder name called responsive page and make sure you have an image. I have placed my poster image on my created page and create a file called index.html in the created folder, and create one style sheet as well. Name it as style.css and create and link that style.css page to the HTML. Make sure to have font awesome icons and make sure to add a Google font called Poppins, which I have used. Fine, let's create a header and it will have one section as logo and the other section as icon, which will be a hamburger icon. This is the icon of it. Let me open it and this is how it looks. Let's style the CSS. Let's give the width to the header as 100 pixel and let's give the position absolute and top 0 and top left so that it sticks to the top, and let's make it display flex so that the logo and icon are on the same side, on the same line I meant. So let's increase the font size as 3 em and let's give the padding so that we can get some space around them. To ignore the scroll bar, let's add a box sizing border box and let me remove the default margin and padding on all HTML elements. Fine, and this is the font, Google font Poppins. And let's create another section which will have the background image called, the name of the image is poster, and let's give the position relative and let's give position left and top 0. Let's give the width as 100% and height as 100 vertical width, vertical height. And now let's give the background position as center and let's give the background size as cover. Fine, now let's give the z index to our header so that it shows on top of section. Fine, it's working. Now we need this content, so let's create a class called content and let's have one heading element, one paragraph element and one anchor tag. So this is a text. Vanda. I have pasted the paragraph and I have also added the anchor tag. So let me format it. Fine, now let's style that content. So what we need is, I want the color white so that we can see it, and let me add a padding as I have added on the header. I want the content to align center, so for that I have used display flex on the section. Section is a container for the content class, so you can see I want it to float left, so for that I have used flex start. Let me give margin bottom to all the content inside it. Fine, now let me give the font size for the heading as 2 em and let me increase the width of the content so that we won't get two lines. Fine, let me decrease font size of it and that looks okay. And let me style the anchor tag. Let me give the color as white and let me give text decoration none so that to remove the underline below the anchor tag, and let me increase the font size of the font awesome icon, and I want the font awesome icon and the text on the side by side. For that I have used display inline on the container. The container here is anchor tag which hold text as well as the icon. Let me give the padding. Fine, and that looks okay. Now the next thing, I'm going to match the font size and the margin, so let me do it. And that looks okay. Now let's get into the next step, which is the icons. So let's create a new section on the HTML. The section can be social, so the section with id, sorry, class social, and let's include some unordered list and list item, and this list item will have font awesome icon, and this font awesome icon will refer to a social links, so that's why I have inserted inside the anchor tag so that we can link accordingly. So let's give the position absolute. This position absolute, here the parent is section, so that's why I have given position relative to the section and used position absolute to the social. Fine. Now to properly center, I have used right 0 pixel and top 50%, and to properly center it, I have used translate on y-axis minus 50%. Fine. Now let me give the border as I have given on the watch tailor button. Let's decrease the width, and that looks okay. Now the cursor as pointer, when I hover it, I want the cursor to be pointer, and that looks perfect match. Now let's add the trailer, and the iframe will be inside the div with class video holder. You can get the link from the YouTube as I've already done it. Let's give the position absolute so that we can fix the trailer on the bottom center, and the left to be 50% and height to be 250 pixel and width to be 250 pixel. Now you can see it is not properly at the center. You can, let me fix the height first. Let me get into the iframe, and I'm going to fit the iframe as the size of the container. So I have given width and height 100%, and to get the ratio I have used object fit contain. Now this will be center because I have used calculate function of the CSS, and this would be the width. Let me adjust it. Now you can see that looks fine. Now to make it responsive, what are we going to do is I'm going to use a media query. This media query will start when the minimum max width is 900 pixel. That means if the screen is less than 900 pixel, this media query is going to work. The first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the height of the section as 100 pixel, and here we made a mistake. That is, we are not supposed to use the width, we are supposed to use the max width. Wherever place you are going to give the width, don't give the width, give the max width. So that's the reason why this is making some mistake. Fine. Now at, at present make it vertical height 100%. Let me find the error where I have made. Let me remove all the position previous to fit. On the desktop I have used position absolute, but on the mobile screen I don't need position absolute, I need position relative. So for that, wherever I have used position absolute, I'm going to make it as position relative, and to override the top and left numbers I'm going to use initial to it. Fine. Now let me check. As I did position relative. Now let's get the video the same way. Let me make it initial as I've already said. To override the top and left or right or bottom, you have to make it initial on mobile. Initial is a value. Now our section and the header are overlapping. That's why I'm giving padding to the section. Now let me decrease the font size of headings, paragraph and anchor tag so that it looks smaller on mobile and perfect size on desktop. Not only the font size, the margin bottom as well for all the elements. You can see this section is, let me make it max width. Once you make it max width, you can see it got fit to the screen. Previously it was showing me scroll bar on the bottom. Now I'm going to override all the paddings. Previously I have given on left and right 100%. Now on left and right only 50 pixels. Previously it was 100 pixel and now it's 50 pixel. Fine. Now let me give padding to social icons as well, and that looks cool. You can see on mobile it is working absolutely fine. On desktop it is also actually absolutely working fine. Thank you so much for listening. Get the source code in the description.